And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com. You know the drill. Visit www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic, and delivery. They will bring it to your house pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. And if not, get yourself down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off of your order. All right, Aaron, let's get to it. We have a new baseball coach.
That's where you want to start? Go.
Yeah, let's start there. Keegan.
Talking about talking.
I haven't had a chance to listen to the press
20 minutes
today.
I also didn't have a chance.
But I did interview him.
You did do that. I read Keegan's article.
Yeah. Keegan did a great job. If you're not, you need to make sure you're following Keegan on Bearcat Journal on Twitter, and he's doing a phenomenal job upping the level of writing content on the website. He was there today. I talked to Jordan Bishel on ESPN 1530 at 3:45. I also listened to him with Lance as I was driving home, so I got 20 minutes of Jordan Bishel.
Boy, Lance caught it on social media today.
He had a rough one today. But that's neither here nor there. I really like what I heard from the Bearcats' new head baseball coach.
His first quote that Keegan had in his article: "I don't need to coach in the South. This is the South for me. It's going to feel tropical in the winter. You guys don't know what cold is. Like, give me that all day."
This is a guy that was born in Green Bay, grew up in Green Bay, and has coached at Central Michigan for the last 4 years. He knows.
Before that, he was also Great Lakes, and there is nowhere around the Great Lakes that is warm.
Yeah, he knows cold. The man knows cold. So I talked to him about that a little bit today as well, where he's like, "Look, it's a mindset. He said this year was the first year in his 4 years at Central Michigan that they had to practice outdoors before their first game. For the first 3 years, they did not have one outside practice.
Climate change, global warming.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was they had one. They had practice outside.
It was a sunny 62.
No, it was probably 47. Yeah. Where when you live there, when it's 40, you know how it is that first day when it's in the 50s here.
I wore shorts to class when there was snow on the ground.
Right.
I get it.
That first day when it's 50s in Cincinnati after the winter, everybody's got shorts and a very light long sleeve on. We back. 47 degrees at Central Michigan. You're like, "Hey boys, round it up. We're going outside today."
As long as there's no breeze, you're happy.
Yeah.
But I also liked, and this surprised me a little bit, but John involved Kevin Youkilis in the hiring process.
Yep.
Were you surprised to hear that in all of this?
No, I mean, he involved Luke Fickell. Wes Miller talked about his conversations. I don't know that John involved Mick Cronin, but Mick Cronin talked to Wes before Wes was hired.
Those are all guys that are affiliated or had recently either recently coached or were on staff. This was somebody who is simply an alumni.
Luke, Uke's been around though. Uke's been around a little bit and made a lot of connections with the current staff in the athletic department, and he cares. He truly gives a shit about UC baseball. So it doesn't shock me, and it's a prudent move. It's a smart move.
I agree.
Uke's probably your most prominent national figure for UC baseball.
Only because Sandy Koufax is no longer around.
Yeah, but I mean, just in terms of he does broadcasting in Boston, and he still has. He didn't just retire and disappear off the face of the planet. I guess is what I'm saying. He's still a guy people know and associate with and talk about. So yeah, I think that's smart. I think you get the new coach in conversation with somebody that cares, and you go from there. And it sounded like obviously it went really well. this is a guy that just wins baseball games, Aaron.
Yeah.
I like his comment of, look, if we get to the level where we're competing for Big 12 championships, then we're competing for national championships. Because that's what the teams at the top of the Big 12 do. Like I asked him, I said, was there anything about the challenge, like challenging yourself to see what you can do at the Big 12 level? And he kind of deflected it and said, like, that's not how I challenge myself. Like, I want to build a great team, and then we'll see where the chips fall from there. But you're looking at TCU, who got eliminated tonight, one win away from going to the finals. Mm-hmm. And I think they were 24-3 over the last 2 months of the season playing Big 12 competition.
Right.
But like, you're going to get the chance to stack yourself up against the best team in one of the best leagues every year. And you got to have great teams to do that.
I like that he's not reliant on the long ball. I like that he likes to play small ball. He likes to play fast. He did talk about that today.
Yeah. He said everything we talked about last night that we wanted to hear.
And I think that playing fast is a key component, especially when you're playing cold, because we all know that the ball is going to travel farther if you're mashing the ball in the heat. If you're playing small ball and you can play fast, that's going to be a difference maker, I feel like, when you're playing in the cold. And I think that the comment that stood out to me the most, aside from the playing fast and all of that, is that he said, I'm coming from a mid-major where everyone wants to steal our guys. It's not my job to keep a team from recruiting them. It's my job to make sure they love it so much they don't want to leave. So he plans on building a culture of just where they invest in the players. He did mention that, and just wants to make sure that they feel the love from the staff as much as they love being here. And I think that, again, we didn't necessarily touch on that last night, but I think that's a very important part of building a baseball culture when these kids are playing on like a third of a scholarship or something crazy.
Essentially, yeah. They get 11.5 scholarships, I think.
It's crazy.
For the whole team. It's
crazy.
Yeah. So I was impressed. I liked the way he handled himself. He said he had a suit on today. He said it's the only suit he owns.
He looked good in it. It was
liked.
I did. It was a nice light gray suit. It was reminiscent. I think Luke wore a suit like that early on, like maybe in his introductory presser. But it was a good color. It was a nice color on him.
I'm just gonna go black suit. I own one. I also own one suit. I'm gonna go black suit. Slimming. I need all the help I can get. But I liked it. I liked what I heard from him today. His pitching philosophy. He's a pitcher, pitched in college. Throw strikes, attack the strike zone. Don't nibble. Don't get cute and put a bunch of free guys on base. Be aggressive on defense. Play in front of the ball. So yeah, I thought he hit the notes that I wanted him to hit.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's talking about talking, that portion of the show. We talked a little bit tonight, Aaron, about on the BCJ pod with if you haven't seen it, go watch it. We had Troy Copain, Kevin Johnson, Shaq Thomas, Deshaun Mormon popped back up like the Undertaker out of the casket, showed up at the end of the show. I love Deshaun Mormon.
Such weird camera angles the whole time for that poor guy as his daughter's running around. He's got the ceiling fan, the ceiling fan at one point, just the ceiling fan. I'm assuming a phone on the floor, but
yeah,
poor guy.
I love Deshaun. He's one of my favorite personalities. I know, it didn't work out here for him, but I love that kid. Like, he always cracked me up. He was always super funny, and it was good to see him pop back up tonight. He's playing with Nasty Natty in the TBT. So yeah, check that out. But Dave and I talked about this weird situation with San Diego State. And owning a message board and doing what we've done and creating the largest UC community on the internet, I can't imagine what if you're the me of San Diego State, I can't imagine what you're going through right now because essentially,
No. You know what you're going through. You're going click frenzy.
yeah, that you are going through that. That's part of it.
And
But
that's a good thing for business.
it's never a bad thing. But you're also going through a situation where your athletic department tried to do like the triple Lindy, like they essentially like pump faked resigning from the conference, and then we're like, well, that's not yet. Like we're like what had happened was like we didn't want to leave yet, but like we want to leave, but like if we don't leave by July 30th, then we owe double the money. So we're gonna try to say we're leaving now, but we don't have anywhere to go because the Pac-12 doesn't have a media deal yet. Like the Pac-12's kind of sticking it to us, and we don't want to stick it to you. But like,
I liked Dave's analogy that he gave on the show, but I'm going to put a little twist on it. Okay. It's like asking your spouse if it's okay if you start using dating websites on your phone.
Yeah, is that like?
I don't know if I'm going to find anything, but I want to see what's out there. No, that's not okay.
Well, if there is like it's like there's a clause in your prenup that is like if you get divorced by this day, she gets this much. But if it's after this day,
that's your alimony date.
Right? Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been divorced. You've been divorced. You understand it better.
I beat alimony. It's fine. I don't know what I would have paid her working for you anyway.
It's $5. But let's put a UC spin. Could you imagine let's go back to 2016 when it felt like a Big 12, it felt like the ink was dry. A lot of people would say the ink was dry, and UC was going to go to the Big 12. Some would say there were banners printed for press conferences to go.
That's what I hear.
All those people were wrong, but some would say that those things were real. Could you imagine if they had turned in like hey AAC, like we appreciate y'all. Thanks for kind of giving us a place to live for the past couple weeks. But like we intend to move somewhere else. And then the Big 12 was like, yeah, I talked to the wife. Like your buddy was going to agree to let you sleep in his basement.
I feel like Cincinnati kind of did something a little similar when they refused to sign the GOR, right?
Well, but there was never a GOR.
I would imagine because there were schools that refused to sign it.
Yeah, and Cincinnati was one of them.
Correct.
I'm not signing that prenup.
Nah, that ain't me, bro. So, I mean, Cincinnati knew that this was a holding place. And I think the American also knew, and they were a little sour about it as we got into the end of the deal. And all of a sudden, Cincinnati
games were officiated.
Cincinnati started getting weird officiating, weird schedules. They started falling off until they made the college football playoff from the commercials. And then they were real quick to be like, oh, no, here it is, Cincinnati.
No, they're like best friends. Like, hey.
What up?
Hey, that's my guy. That's my guy. Appreciate
Come on, Oresco. Well, I see you, Oresco. I see you. But yeah, it's a weird situation. San Diego State finds itself in. I don't know how. If this doesn't work out for them, it's going to be you've essentially burned bridges, right? Like maybe not all the way down, but there's some fires that you have to put out if this doesn't go well for San Diego State. So I'm curious to see how the chips fall. I don't know how it's going to go for them. I'm not envious of their position. Obviously, clearly things were said from anybody out there. I don't think you do that just on your own, right?
Well, but then the Mountain West called him on it, was like, okay, you're out. And they're like, well, hey, that's
like I said, I don't think they're doing this on their own. I think there were some conversations that were had, and then I think somebody reneged on those conversations real quick.
Well, again, the Pac-12 can't invite them. They don't have a deal.
Well, that's been
again. The alimony deadline was like it's
look. Maybe the Johns
away.
Maybe the Johns invited San Diego State. Who knows?
That's enough. That's the nightcap. We'll see you tomorrow night. Oh, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!